A major science fiction and fantasy convention in Chicago has been canceled, allegedly due to organizers of the venue calling the people going to the convention freaks. This happened with the Sci-Fi Con 2014, a first-year convention celebrating all things geekdom, but specifically sci-fi, fantasy, comics, etc.
In Chicago.
In Chicago. It's kind of a cute name.
I like it. I think it's clever.
Yeah, but it will actually not happen as planned. It will be moved to 2015 in a different venue. Originally, it was set for the Westin Chicago River North. Con chairman James Dobbs posted recently that it would be happening because a senior hotel official had called attendees costumed freaks, and he was worried that, one, that goes against the anti-harassment policy that they put in place, even though it is a first-year con, and two, the people, even the guests, will not be respected in the way that they should be, especially since they're paying them. They pulled contracts worth $100,000 because of this.
So what happened was a senior official at the hotel was worried that a convention of this nature would not reflect well on the hotel's reputation.
Well, let me give you some exact quotes.
Please.
In a phone interview that Dobbs did recently regarding the situation, he said that the manager of the Westin Chicago River North called those attending freaks. Quote, "My recollection is that she actually said that costumed freaks are not in keeping with the reputation of the hotel. That's not the position of Westin or Starwood, but it terrified him," Dobbs.
Right. Okay. I'm going to carefully play devil's advocate because I don't think anybody should be referred to as a freak, especially when they're just doing what they love. Now, this convention was booked at this hotel successfully. Someone at this hotel said, yes, we would love for you to have your event here. Then someone else thought, maybe this isn't the best thing for our hotel, which is a valid concern. Once you get into name calling, that's where you cross the line and you break your harassment.
That is crossing the line. And, you know, most anti-harassment policies that cons have in place are reactionary after someone has already, you know, sort of been harassed by not necessarily a venue employee, but maybe someone else who's attending the con or maybe someone who's working the con. They're mostly reactionary is my point. And this is a first-year con establishing right away that they have an anti-harassment policy.
I think it's perfectly reasonable for upper management at a hotel to say, hey, I don't think that this type of event is something we want associated with our brand. It's okay to have that thought before you book the event. Having that thought after the event has been booked and money's been paid for is buyer's remorse. And I think at that point, then, you know, you're out of line.
Well, it is out of line, especially to call customers freaks. And it is, I think it's, you know, you may have a different opinion, but I think it's perfectly reasonable for them to pull their contracts. It's their money. I'm not paying someone to disrespect me and the people I'm having here as my guests for my event at all. And it's completely uncalled for to be harassing people at a con. I mean, have you been harassed at a con before or seen negative words thrown toward con attendees?
I mean, yes, I have seen discrimination at conventions. There are some people that go to these and take them way more serious than other people. Some people are really enthusiastic about going in costume and playing a character and doing a thing. And there are more casual people that look at those, you know, serious hardcore fans with, you know, maybe a little disrespect, maybe a little disdain, and it goes the other way too. I've seen people saying, oh, you're not even in costume, what are you doing here? You don't love this thing as much as I love this thing. So there are different levels of respect and disrespect.
I've seen at different conventions, comic-type conventions, staff being very confused by the attendees. I've seen, you know, I used to work for Anime Expo, and there was this one hotel where many costumed people stayed, and of course there'd be looks of bewilderment, like, what are these people wearing? Why are so many people dressed like this? But it was never, you know, an employee saying, you're freaks.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, you're, as a person who I'll deem as, you know, normal, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean people that aren't as fanatical about any specific thing as the con attendees are, I feel as though, yeah, you're allowed to look quizzically at people that seem out of place to you. However, as hotel staff employees, it's your job and a requirement of your job to be respectful to the people that are using your establishment. So yes, you can be confused. Yes, you can like be a little weirded out by people in costume, but you still have to be respectful because they booked the time here.
Now, certain officials from the hotel are saying that they had agreed mutually that the people with Sci-Fi Con had wanted to pull out of their agreement, and they had agreed, and it was mutually agreed upon. But of course, Dobbs is disputing that, saying, no, this is why we're pulling out our contracts. Do you agree with this decision at all?
What I will say is, if it is a reactionary to this one person calling the con attendees freaks, I think the con supervisors overreacted. I think they went overboard. I think having one person make fun of you on a hotel staff is no reason to cancel the whole convention for a whole year.
Don't you think that sets a poor precedent for a senior hotel staffer to be saying that already?
I think that if you're throwing a nerd convention, you have to accept the fact that you have unconventional.
Yeah, but are you a freak?
No, you're not a freak, but I think you have to sort of accept that other people think that you're a freak. And if you got upset every time somebody called you a freak, you're going to be fighting that battle all day, every day. You have...
Well, it's not just one random guy, though. This is someone of importance at the hotel that is catering to you and is taking care of people who are your guests, your guests of honor, not necessarily attendees who also deserve respect.
I agree it was unprofessional of that senior hotel employee. That said, I think if you are throwing nerd conventions, you need to have a little bit of a thicker skin to make this happen. Otherwise, you're always going to find an employee like this at every venue.
Well, sure, but
you just need to move on, have your convention, trust that, the hotel staff is going to honor their side of the contract and respect your attendees and have a good time.
Maybe I'm speaking a little bit from inside a bubble, but I feel like these conventions, comic conventions, are more common now. I mean, people aren't as shocked by, oh my gosh, that girl is dressed as Scarlet Witch. Who is that? What a freak. I feel like it's more conventional than it had been in the past, and maybe this is a little uncalled for. At least from that standpoint as well.
Certainly, comic book conventions, nerd conventions, video game conventions are more mainstream than they used to be. I mean, you even see, T-shirts in stores that says, I love nerds, I love geeks.
I don't like those, but
I
sure.
don't care for them either, but they exist. So being, the success of Big Bang Theory, it's getting cool to be a nerd. I understand that you don't like the superficial nerd movement, but it's a thing whether you like it or not.
Fair.
So yes, these are becoming more mainstream, so they're less weird than they used to be. However, there's different levels of weird and different levels of comfort that people are willing to put up with. If your hotel is hosting a furry convention, people are going to be a little weirded out by that. The people that are going to the convention think it's perfectly normal, but you have to understand that the people around you are going to find you strange. It's the same with nerd conventions. It's the same with people in full Klingon makeup. If you walk into a McDonald's, you're going to get some looks. You can't say, what are you doing? Why are you judging me? I'm allowed to do whatever I want. You got to kind of accept that, yes, people are going to look at me strangely because I don't look like they would normally expect me to look.
I think we've reached a little bit of an impasse. Agree to disagree, or disagree to agree to disagree. What do you think? Who's at fault here, and who overreacted or didn't react enough? Or what is the right way to treat this situation? Let us know in the comments what you think, and please be sure to subscribe.